Communication. In the air, all around us. It's carried on the licensed electromagnetic spectrum, from long wavelength low frequency to shorter wavelength higher frequency waves. But the spectrum is a finite resource, and the more we move into a wireless world, the more crowded it gets.
Hello, good morning. You're through to Ofcom. How can I help you?
It's Ofcom's job to maximise the benefit the UK gets out of this limited and valuable resource. That means licensing it, monitoring it, and taking action against those who misuse it. Who's got what frequency and where, and are they using it properly? Are safety-critical services free from interference? To answer questions like this, Ofcom calls on the Baldock Monitoring Centre in this radio-quiet valley just north of London. It's the UK hub for all spectrum monitoring activities, and it's listening in every minute of every day.
Yes, London, live back DVSP, coming through with a new tune. Let's go!
Hotel 211 audio complied at 114
FS from Hotel 211 repeats all of message. Message is weak and unreadable.
Certain services rely on clear channels. Air traffic control, the military, the Coast Guard, and of course the emergency services. Ofcom police the spectrum and shut down people who abuse it.
Ofcom Baldock?
Whenever there's interference with these safety of life channels, Baldock is the first contact point. To trace the signal, the duty officer activates Ofcom's network of state-of-the-art RMDF, or remote monitoring and direction finding stations, to get a fix on the rogue signal. The stations are strategically placed around the UK, with more units planned to get even better coverage. They scan the spectrum from 20 megahertz to 3 gigahertz with a UHF dome and a VHF pentagon array. Triangulating from 2 or more stations and using Scorpio mapping software, the duty officer can narrow down the search area to 1 square kilometre. The area manager is then contacted and a local team is scrambled.
We're getting close.
This team homes in on the source of the signal.
I think we want to write again here.
It's usually not hard to locate the transmitter. It's a dirty emitter within an otherwise clean channel, and the antenna's made from plumbing pipe.
Tell you what, if you give us one bling us now, we might see if we can run a competition for you on LWR.
But finding the studios can be much harder. For example, the link to the transmitter is often a low-power, narrow beam operating on a different frequency.
Well, let's do it.
Office of Communications. I have search one.
Wait, don't touch the stuff! Get your hands off the stuff!
Come on.
Leave it.
Illegal broadcasts can cause havoc. Not only do they interfere with licensed commercial users, but poorly made equipment often spews out signals onto other channels, even the ones reserved for the emergency services.
Priority, Hotel 211, Hotel 211, M2FS, over.
FS from Hotel 211, go ahead, over.
Hotel 211, smoke issuing 114 Victoria, rise.
M2FS from Hotel 211, received, now status 2, over.
Received, M2FS out.
With some channels, it's essential they stay open for the right users only.
Hey, wash your hand. Let's get out.
Although events affecting safety of life are a vital part of Baldock's work, the centre is also involved in helping Ofcom fulfil its broader policy commitments. In 2004, the UK began the move towards a market-driven model of spectrum management.
Yeah, 5656.
This means the work they do here can have implications on the way that all sorts of businesses operate. This simple disc cone rooftop antenna is part of the unmanned monitoring system, Ofcom's expanding UMS network is continuously taking snapshots of radio frequency activities in large towns all across the UK. Up to 2,000 channels a second can be scanned, and the results digitised and stored. Back at Bulldog, these results are analysed. So if you want to know if someone is using 453 megahertz in Leeds and when, UMS can tell you. And with more businesses competing to use a slice of the spectrum, UMS plays a vital role in helping to identify underused channels by building up a detailed picture of how the spectrum is being used across the UK.
David, can you come to front door? Can you come to front door, please?
So if one business is only using their channel at night,
Roger, Roger, carry on.
Roger, Roger.
could they share daytime use with another business? Any market requires high-quality information to operate effectively. UMS scans provide that information, and by verifying spectrum channels, enable the first steps to be made towards trading in spectrum assets. The expertise that Bulldog has is some of the most advanced in the UK. There's the centre itself, listening in, locating the problem, and sending out the right team for the job. There's the team dedicated to maintaining and developing the UMS network. A different team is responsible for regulating and monitoring high-powered broadcast radio transmitters, evaluating the power outputs and whether they're using the right frequency. Another team that responds rapidly to local issues. They can set up temporary RMDF stations anywhere in the UK, a great weapon in the hunt for hoax callers. Bulldog can also deploy the first UK-accredited mobile laboratory in the country. So whether the new digital Tetra masks for the emergency services are interfering with your TV, or if the output of mobile phone masks concerns you, this mobile laboratory team can provide accurate, calibrated measurements right across the spectrum to help resolve difficult interference issues. As we've seen, helping to maximise the use of the spectrum is all part of Bulldog's day-to-day work. But let's not forget the services that just can't go wrong. What's a lemon sole got to do with air traffic control? Pilots in the mid-Atlantic use HF waveband to communicate with air traffic control and to plot their positions.
Flight radar heading 105 degrees, climb flight level 100. Heading 105, sunset 100, British.
What they want to hear back is any altitude and course correction instructions. What they don't want to hear is the best place to catch fish. Trawlermen are notorious for using other people's channels to secretly pass on the location of shoals. 5678 kilohertz is a popular choice. The trouble is, it interferes with transatlantic air traffic control. So how do you find a rogue fishing boat thousands of miles away in the middle of the ocean? You use a super resolution direction finder like this. And with international cooperation, perhaps from Austrian and Portuguese listening stations, they can triangulate the signal, identify where the boats are, and then contact the nearest Coast Guard and get them to clear the channel.
Navy 193 is optimal 5 miles east of Cod Road.
Which means safer skies for all of us. This kind of international collaboration is an important part of Bulldog's work. The centre works in tandem with its European partners to help resolve interference in satellite communications, including the satellite TV spectrum. This helps keep channels clear here in the UK and in the rest of Europe. Bulldog is monitoring and analysing the spectrum to make sure we use it effectively. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The electromagnetic spectrum, an invisible, precious and limited resource that helps to keep us safe, entertained and communicating.